The No Boundaries radio show may contain adult material and coarse language. Listener discretion is advised.
So bold, revealing yourself like a
Mick Scott from Spokane WA, and I want you to know that I'm listening to one of the coolest shows on the planet. This is No Boundaries Radio, and we're glad to have you. Better wear a cup.
This is Gabrielle Faust, and you're listening to No Boundaries Radio, where all the vampires hang out late at night.
Hi there, this is the artist, Mike Bliss. I'm over here in London, and I'm here to tell you that No Boundaries Radio has gone global and is drawing listeners from all over the world.
This is Donna Stewart from Sci-Fi Radio, and you're listening to No Boundaries Radio. They're a little messed up, but they're cool.
Welcome to the No Boundaries Radio Show. Are you ready for a wild ride in radio entertainment? Let's welcome our host, William Maltese, author of over 200 books, And JoJo from VampireWear, creator of jewelry and clothing for the undead. Everybody, welcome to the No Boundaries Radio Show. It is December the 10th, 2014, and I opened our show tonight with one of our guests that's been on our show, and we just love her, Robin Brock, and that's robinbrock.com, and so you can check out all her music there. And tonight we're going to have another one-on-one discussion, me and William, as we take on the recent harrowing adventures of my co-host in Hinterland, Spokane, Washington State, USA, doing research for his 200-plus something books called Hinterland Modeling Contest, One Judge's Perspective. So I'm really interested. I was gone for a week, so I'm really interested to hear about all this too. I just caught bits and pieces of it. But however, before we get into that, I'm wondering what William's been up to the past couple of weeks, besides judging a contest. And I've been off in Texas. And what you're drinking with tonight's theme, I have no idea. No idea at all.
No idea, no. Okay. Mainly JoJo this past week. I've just yet again been trying to cope with the cold, which although it's not as bad as it has been, and it's not as bad as it's likely to get, it's still pretty cold enough for me. So I spent most of my nights in front of a roaring fire, burning the wood I chopped in the fall. Nice. Just thanking God I chopped it. That's drinking nice. Warm cognac from a snifter and taking notes for my book, which we'll be discussing later on, Hinterland Modeling Contest, One Judge's Perspective. I have stepped outside a few times, anticipating that I might go to one art exhibit or another to which I've been invited. But I've always turned around and gone back inside the house, poured myself another drink, warmed it in a snifter, and sat down with a pen and paper in front of a warm fire and stayed warm. Now, as for what I'm drinking this evening, in keeping with our program's Hinterland Modeling Contest theme, and I must say, considering the weather, I think I'd actually be drinking a warm cognac. Yeah. But I'm having a cocktail called Sour Grapes.
Yeah.
Which I thought very apropos, which is just very simple to make. Just 3 ounces of pink Pinot Grigio wine and 1 ounce of sour mix. You just pour the ingredients into a cocktail shaker with ice. You shake well, you strain into a chilled cocktail glass, and then you drink. Bringing us to that point in our program, JoJo, where you tell us what you have been doing this past couple of weeks and how you're coping and having once again gone from sunshine. Well, maybe not too much sunshine from what I hear about the weather you had there. Yeah. Back to London, Canada, chilly temperatures, as well as what's been up with VampireWear.com and MeadowLilyFarm.com, and of course what you're drinking this evening, if anything.
Well, I actually am having a wee cocktail this evening. I just had some Shiraz. I like the Shiraz red wine, so that's what I'm having tonight. But I
run out of honey for your hot toddies, did you?
Oh no, we have our stash, so we have lots.
Oh, your stash. Oh, yeah. Well, sure. That's the way that goes. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
And we just got back from Texas, and it was. I guess it's their winter there too. It's a bit chilly there. From I didn't know what to expect. It was rainy and chilly the first few days, and then it got warm, and we went on some nice excursions like the river walk and a lot of really amazing food. We went to this Brazilian barbecue that had these guys, you have this little card on your table and you just flip it over when you want more meat, and they come around with big swords and cut off chunks.
Is that one of those twirling things? Those meats on a spit or something where they just slice it off and put it on your plate?
They weren't twirling their meat.
Oh, okay. They were just lying there in a big pot.
But they have these, they're kind of dressed up, and they have these big swords with...
No, I don't mean... Oh. I don't mean the men twirling. I mean the meat.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. They slice them off and then they put it back in and twirl. Oh, okay, I get it. They twirl it and cook it somewhere. Yeah.
Twirling dervishes. Okay,
I thought
very
the
well.
men
Go
were
ahead.
twirling,
Don't mean to interrupt. After all,
No,
you
but
didn't
that was
interrupt
really
me.
fun, and like there was like lamb and chicken and filet mignon wrapped, like these little filet mignon things wrapped in bacon. They were awesome. So in like this huge, amazing salad bar and everything. So it was like great food there. So we just got back from Texas, and we've been busy here, and this week just getting home, quite a lot. People are buying honey for Christmas, so we've sent some honey orders out. So that's meadowlilyfarm.com, and I've also been sending out a lot of the VampireWear, a lot of the necklaces. I've been going out. I stayed up last night. I think I did 15 orders last night.
When's the deadline for them to be able to get it by Christmas without paying exorbitant prices for overnight delivery?
Yeah. Well, I would say the beginning of next week. No, I would say now.
Last week.
I'm just looking at the calendar. I just switched my calendar over because it still said November today. But
so did mine.
I would say now.
Don't order anymore unless you're prepared to pay overnight delivery.
Yeah, and that's like super expensive to the States.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if in the U.S., between the U.S. and Canada, yes.
Yeah, but you know what? It's busy right now, and you can always print a picture out of something on VampireWear and give it to your lovely vamp, and just tell them it's
your honey.
As
I've been hearing in all the Viagra advertisements down here, has some broad laying on a mattress out in a tropical resort saying, "You and your honey." You know, but just call that. Sorry, that's just a quick aside. Go ahead.
But anyways, listen. I just caught bits and pieces because I was like online sporadically on our trip. So as I said already at the opening of the show, William and I are discussing some little adventures he's been having while socked away in Hinterland, Spokane, Washington State in the USA. And he's working on his new book, Hinterland Modeling Contest, One Judge's Perspective.
Yes, indeed. Oh, it looks like they're coming from me. I hear all the sirens outside.
Oh,
you
okay.
Probably aren't. Anyway, whatever.
It's
anyway,
the modeling police. It's the modeling police.
Yeah, they're coming to get me to shut me up. Look, by way of preference this evening, let me just state that any reference I may make to any modeling contest should not be considered a direct reference to any specific modeling contest that occurred in the past, is occurring now, or will occur at any time in the future.
Oh boy.
I especially really cover my ass on that.
Okay, we're covered, Dave. We're good. We're not going to get sued.
Look, I especially mentioned future because 2 weeks ago on this very program, I did mention that I'd been asked to judge just such a contest scheduled for a few months up the road. But in order to shed any trace of conflict of interest, by mutual agreement with the show's sponsor, decided no longer to act as a judge for that event, which left me unhindered to write my book based upon information I picked up in Spokane as regards how things happen in a small Pacific Northwest town as compared to how they might happen in a bigger, more cosmopolitan location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Don't you have a note?
Sorry. Oh my God.
I can't take up this whole program by myself.
I dropped everything.
Feed me a question. Feed me something.
But that's not exactly the first time you decided to incorporate aspects of the fashion and modeling world into your writing, is it?
What?
you actually met some big names in the industry during your traveling days.
Oh, we're rolling right along. Go ahead.
Did I muck something up?
No, Devin, no.
Oh, okay.
I just naturally laugh.
Okay.
This whole business is so funny.
Yeah.
I just sometimes
but you've got some big names.
break into spontaneous laughter.
I know you've written books about the fashion industry and had fashion shows in your books, the meat hooks and all that funky stuff. So you've actually met some big names in the industry during your traveling days while you're doing research for the industry. So that helped with the book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually it was. I mean, actually it's not as if I haven't had some contact with the fashion industry in the past and with modeling and that sort of thing. I mean, it's just that I have had contact with it mainly in major cities. I mean, rather than, out in the sticks, which take my word for it, is not the same as out in the big cities. I mean, like, look, I was in South Beach when Gianni Versace was throwing his parties, and I was in Paris and Seoul, Korea to meet fashion model Dal Kim. I was at Studio 54, New York, when models like Iman, later David Bowie's wife, and designers like Yves Saint Laurent and Halston were pretty much permanent fixtures. And I've even sat in on fashion photo shoots, by Deborah Turbeville and Francesco Scavullo, just to name a few. So
how many books did you end up writing that included modeling and fashion before this one?
Before the one I'm working on now. Okay.
Yes.
I wrote 3 books before this one that are each set in a fashion industry, having drawn upon my having taken an insider's look at how fashion and modeling worked in civilized centers of the world, like New York City, after which I wrote A Sip to Die For, in Bangkok, after which I wrote Tie-Dyed, in London, Rome, San Francisco, and New York City, after which I wrote Sucks, first of the Dracula Vampire Chronicles.
Yeah.
but
Leave it to London, Rome, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh, and New York City.
Yeah, look, never have I encountered such an unprofessional and whiny small clique of supposedly professionals, and it's feeling equally just as self-deserving sycophants as I ferreted out in Spokane, Washington.
So you figure, being in Spokane, Washington, like a smaller city, like New York, in London, Rome, Paris, they're pretty far removed from the Spokane, like their ideas, the Spokane, Washington state.
Yeah. Yes.
To say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. Look, to say the least, they're farther removed even than our sun is from Orion's Beetlejuice, I mean,
Beetlejuice.
Well, I'm not referring to the movie Beetlejuice, by the way. That is a star in the constellation Orion.
Okay. Yeah, well, Orion.
But it's about that far, and actually, it might even be farther. I mean, what a difference, between what's called a professional model in the centers of modeling and what's supposedly a professional model, here in the hinterland. I mean, it was actually cultural shock, to hear about all the stuff that goes down here in the boonies, that would never occur when dealing with professional models in the big wide world.
Well, like what happened?
Like what? Oh,
like
okay.
what? Like,
you should ask. Well, okay, look, by way of a major example, any model worth her salt in the real world knows that modeling is a business full of rejection, whether used by agencies, photographers, designers, or clients. And rejection is often based on things over which a model has no control. She's too fat for what the client wants. She's too thin for what the client wants. She has the wrong ethnic look for what the client wants. She looks like a duck walking down the runway. all of which necessitates a thick skin and sucking it up if you want to succeed in the business. You find very few thick skins and or sucking it up among the unprofessional professional models in Spokane.
Yeah, well, I think that's,
Do you? Have you had experience with... You've done some modeling. Have you ever done out in the Dingles?
In the what?
Dingles. That's kind of like another word for hinterland or boonies.
Yeah, well, I've been in some, places that were pretty... Yeah, I mean, they're pretty... You have to... I understand the suck it up thing, because there was a job I got. I did get the job, because I did do modeling before, so this is kind of cool that we're talking about this, but one of the jobs that I was going to get, at first, they like my face. My face looks better from the side than the front,
Mm-hmm.
because they said from the side my face looks flat, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to just go like when they were, what that was their opinion, and you have to understand that I mean, they're just trying to get what they want, so you have to accept it if that's what they think. But I got the job anyways, because then they just shot me from the side because I was still the hottest girl there. So
Look, a lot of people in business, a lot of models have flaws.
yeah,
And they learn how to hide them. I mean, or they lose when they're posing. They learn how to disguise them, or how to keep them out of the picture, which makes them look good. The thing is, somewhere along the line, someone has to say to you, JoJo, your face looks flat from the side. Thereafter, if you take that to heart, and even if you'd lost a job, if you took that to heart, and on your next job you knew that you were flat from the side and presented them with another part of your face, you'd be more apt to get the job. I mean, you've got to, in the business, accept criticism or accept suggestions and make the best of them.
no, my face was flat from the front.
Oh, from the front.
So
you look good from the side.
So I looked.
Well, you know what?
Because I'm just saying for me. Yeah, I looked. And then I looked at pictures, and I kind of understood it. I didn't get upset about it, because I actually had done quite a bit of modeling, so I understood it. They just said her face looks flat from the front, but if we shoot her from the side, because they liked my nose.
Yeah. I mean, you can't take anything personal, because somebody else might like your face from, not think that it's flat from the front or something. I mean, it's the moment, it's the client, it's the person that, they need a specific something or other. And if they say no, you go on. Especially if you expect to make a profession of the business, you go on. You listen to the suggestions that are made. You don't do too much sass back. You just take it to heart, and you leave it at that. But
because
not
basically
some of the people that run out here in the
basically what I think is, if you put yourself out there as a model. Okay, I know we're going off our thing here for a minute, but if you put yourself out there as a model, then you are a thing to them. Like, and you can't take it personally, because they might, whatever they're trying to promote, if you don't work for it, like if your body doesn't work for it, your face doesn't work for it, your skin color, your hair, your eyes, there could be a gazillion reasons. It's just. That's just the way it goes. But you might be perfect for something else, so you can't take it to heart, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not anything. And a lot of the critique that they give you is something over which you have no control. I mean, you can't control at the moment, how fat you are or how thin you are. If you're like in the Orient, where blondes are popular, you could always dye your hair. But if you go out on a call and you have dark hair, you can't very change that. If you're in the Orient, you can be too tall, because a lot of the clothes over there are made for people who are smaller. You can't, shrink to to fit the bill. You just have to realize that when someone says, you're really too far, you're really too short for my market, you just have to understand that. And then the next call you go to look shorter, or if a lot of people have good qualities and good personality and are friendly and everything, I mean, they can get around some of these things, because I do know of models like in the Orient who are basically too tall, really too tall for the clothes. And if the client likes you and likes your look and thinks you're friendly, they can work around you. They can alter clothes to make them fit you. So you just have to be able to, suck it up and,
Yeah. Well,
suck
like
it
I
up,
said,
girls.
like I said, I remember that, like, sitting there going, well, and these are professional people, and they go, your face looks too flat from the front, and so it was like, okay, and then later they came back and they go, well, no, you got it. It was to do a video, and they said you have it because you look great from the side, so you have to you know, like you said, and I was probably like bubbly and giggly and fun, and they just decided.
Well, yeah,
and
I mean, look, a good personality pays. If you're nice to people, whether they have things to critique about you that you don't find very faithful, you're going to get a far farther in this world, and especially in the modeling business, than these people who's carp and wine and Ray John and on about something that someone like I says about him. It's just actually, actually it's laughable on one side and it's sad on the other, and it's sometimes very.
Well, that's a hard gig for people.
Pathetic. Not everybody is made out for it. You can be very, very pretty and not make it. As a matter of fact, in this day and age, you don't really have to be stunningly beautiful to be a model, because they go more for an individual face that doesn't really sometimes fit the stereotype.
Yeah.
So especially, girls who are pretty and think they're models, especially in small towns like a very small pond like Spokane, are so used to being considered pretty by the majority of the people they're around, because this is a very conservative town in the backwoods, who had, they have absolutely, liberal, they have their idea of what's pretty, that you've been treated as pretty and special all of your life. And if someone comes along and kind of kicks the rug under you and lets you know that, you're just one more, go out into the world and you're just one more pretty girl, and pretty doesn't foot the bill. Well, watch out, because you're fooling with a lot of people who think they're special, and in the long run, I'm sorry to say, they're not. So suck it up, girls, because if you're going to go out in the world, I'm not the only one who's going to, provide you with a bit of criticism.
Well, that's it. They have to develop a skin that their modeling's not who they are. That's just something that they do. And if they're models and they've gotten work doing modeling, then there's a reason that they're doing it. So they're good at something as far as modeling, but it just might not be right for that person. But you posted something critical on Facebook, to which a small group of supposedly Spokane professional models took offense to. I'm not sure what it is, because
well, let me tell you by way of lead-in. I heard more than one. Supposedly professional Spokane model state that it would be simply excuse me, I don't know. Some of these things are so amusing. Just don't. If I burst into spontaneous laughter, just kind of give me a minute. Give me a minute to go on. Anyway,
you have another sip of your sour grapes. We'll be just fine, William.
Thank you. Okay. I heard more. I'll start again. I heard more than one supposedly professional Spokane model state it would be impossible for her to take part in any photo shoot, or to walk down any runway, or to participate in any contest or pageant if she were discovered that a beginner or an intermediate model was in the same shoot or show with her. It didn't make any difference, it said, whether the end result was going to be a magazine cover or money or whatever. Sharing camera shoots or runway space with a beginner or intermediate just wasn't going to happen. They said it would demean their professional status. It would bring ridicule from friends and from associates and from everyone in the business. Who would deem them as less professional than the snooty models they really were. I mean that, really, please.
So you totally disagreed and said what on Facebook? And said what on Facebook, William?
And said what on Facebook, William? I merely pointed out that any professional model I knew in the real world, rather than in the boonies, mind you, would jump at the opportunity to show a beginner or intermediate how it's really done, and in the process pick up for herself a chance to be on a magazine cover or make some money. I mean, look, if someone's offering you a magazine cover, and they say, okay, I've got some girls here who want to try out for it. And you look over there and see Betty, who's a beginner, and say, nope, this this isn't going to happen. I don't know. It comes off. It just comes off as if I don't know. It just comes off as just a bit crazy, if you ask me. And the reaction that I got. The reaction. I mean, a magazine cover is a magazine covers a magazine cover. But you would have thought that I suggested she stand knee deep in pig shit, and sing 3 verses of Jingle Bells. I mean, it was just they just couldn't fathom, being anywhere near or beginning or intermediate model. And the thing is, I bet a few days ago they were intermediate or beginning models, and I have still yet to figure out what their definition of. There was a big argument about the definition of what professional was, and whether whether you did modeling full time or whether it had to do with salary or whether it had to do with experience or how many times you were booked. Nobody really seemed to know, but this small group thinks they're professional, and nobody.
Are they listed? Like, are these women listed as like beginner, intermediate, professional? Like, that's what I don't understand.
They're not lit. No,
like,
you mean officially listed? No, this is all in their. This is all in their, minds.
In their minds.
This is and this is. I'm in Spokane. I did a few runway shows, and I even did some in, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Mm-hmm. And you have done, and you, Betty, have done nothing. So I'm a professional and you're not. And if I were to appear in anything with you, the fact that you are just a beginner, and I've been in, 2 shows, would just denigrate my professional. I can't be seen with amateurs.
So is this something that the girls decided within themselves? Like, if one said, well, I did, like, professional is being paid for it. So if she said, well, I did this advertisement and this runway show and this and that, and then little, like, Susie Hoo shows up that's just, like, really, really cute and wants to start modeling but hasn't gotten any paid jobs. So the other big bad model goes, I'm not working with her. Is that how that works?
Why, were you here? Were you?
I might as well been, because I pretty much understand how.
You understand what's going on? Were you a fly on the wall in that room?
I guess.
Yes,
so.
As I said, nobody thinks. You get these girls together, this little clique. You get them together, and if you ask them what professional is, one will say, oh, I made $35,000 last year, so I'm a professional model. And then the other one says, well, I do it full time, so I'm a professional model. They don't really know. They have just given, they know that they're a professional model. And they know that poor little Susie Q. Betty, who doesn't make $35,000 a year yet, or who hasn't walked 2 runway shows, one in Spokane and one in Coeur d'Alene. She's just, it was all very, it's all very, high school cliquish. Like, I'm a cheerleader and she's a nerd. And so, my group doesn't associate with her. It makes me seem, less attractive to the boys or something rather. I mean, it's just so hinterland, out of the big leagues that it's really laughing. It's really laughable.
So did you you go on to say that they were like scaredy cats, afraid of risk competing with beginners or intermediates in case they're losing to one of the beginners?
Yeah, well, look. First I got they, which is plural, because it's just not one. There's a group of, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 who think that they're above everybody else. I do want to state, I will state at the beginning that there are some professional. I'm keeping a list, in case anybody calls me and says
you got your Santa's list there.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's not the only one who's keeping a of who's naughty and nice. There are actually. I know of at least one girl who is basically a professional who is on the verge of possibly going big time. And she's
nice, right? Is she a nice girl?
Yeah, she's nice. I mean, so this is just a select group. So I can't tar the whole bunch. I mean, actually, she's more. I don't know how much experience she has, but she's
tar and feather.
Yeah, I don't want to tar the whole group, and I certainly don't want to tar the beginners and the intermediates, because I mean, I've met some really, really nice models who are, just starting out and will, do everything. As a matter of fact, as far as Spokane goes, if you can't get one of the professionals who are good, and rather than deal with this other whole group, I would say, if you have to have a model out of Spokane, you should look at the beginners and intermediates. A lot of them are, and you mold them, rather than be stuck with, some model who thinks she knows more about you and your, you and your product that do just. Because, I mean, they really genuinely got mad, that they were an in-group and they didn't want to associate with anyone outside their circle, and and you tried to tell them, and not just, by the way, not just them, but they have a whole circle of BFFs, best friends.
Yeah.
They have, friends in salons. They have, and they have people who do their hair, and they have people, who do this and do that for them, who don't really want to lose them as customers. So, I mean, you get all of this little group together. So once the models start complaining, everybody starts complaining. And actually, as a theme, probably, here's the reason they're so good for this show. Because they got so mad and foaming at the mouth that they actually looked demonic. They came off as demonic.
Really?
Or mad dogs, I mean. So I thought, our show's about demonic people. Look, at one time I thought of going to the nearest doctor and either getting a rabies shot or going to the nearest priest and getting an exorcism. I mean, it was just, it was just that bad. So, and then, as you insinuated earlier, yes, I did. After they got me started, and I thought, these girls can't take criticism, so why don't I just lop another in their direction? Yeah. I told them, I insinuated that it sounded like to me that they were a bunch of fraidy cats, afraid to compete. This profession, this professional story of theirs, la-di-da-di-da-di, degrading my professionalism, was just kind of a red herring, and that the real reason was they were afraid if they competed in a competition with a beginner and an intermediate, they would probably lose.
Well, that's why you're afraid. Right?
Yeah, they're yeah. I was afraid, and they tried, that's no. But that's what it came off to mean. I mean, look, if you're competing for a magazine cover, a magazine cover anywhere, whether it's, in the Pacific Northwest or whether it's in Milan or whether it's the cover of Vogue, I mean, a magazine cover is a big thing. Oh. And if you're turning down a magazine cover because you don't want to be up in competition against a beginner or an intermediate model, that insinuates to me, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and waddles like a duck, 9 times out of 10, it's a 10. It's a duck. So, I mean, it just comes off to me as that little group is, they're so afraid now that they've proclaimed to everyone that they're professionals. They're afraid that they'll lose that status. And if they lost in a beauty pageant, they no longer could, bring it up. I'm a professional, what you see. And in point of fact, a lot of clients out in the big wide world look for new faces.
Yes.
And would rather go with a new face and mold them, rather than go with somebody who's already established. I mean, and probably charges them far more money.
Yeah, I think that's.
Go ahead, because you know the business, and that's the impression that they gave me all around. So.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that's true, because if a brand, like a big brand name comes out with someone that's new, and I think the way things are today is they're looking for more interesting models. So they might not be the most prettiest girls, most beautiful girls. It's more like their attitude shows on their face. It makes them beautiful, right?
Yes.
So there's a difference now. It's not just, I guess on runways to show off clothing, which is, I think, a lower scale than being a face to a brand. The girls that just do the runways, that's different because they just want them to look good in the clothing, so they need to be a certain height, size, blah, blah, right? But,
and you have to be very, very careful if you have a specific look and that specific look becomes identified with a perfume or with the big paying jobs. I mean, can really kind of cut you down elsewhere because they're thinking,
Yes,
they're thinking, that her face is connected to that perfume, and we have another perfume, so that won't work.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. That's interesting. That's an interesting take on it too, because like you said, you can't have you don't want the same girl doing, just say Kate Moss or somebody doing an ad for one fragrance, and then boom, another fragrance. So she has to do well enough off doing the ad for the one fragrance not to worry about the other ones, right?
Yeah. And there's also models. There's models who are associated with certain designers too. I mean, use them all the time. So I mean, if you're modeling for one of the designers and you appear in every single runway show, another designer might think that your face is too associated with that other designer to be a designer for him. It's just all the long way. There's so many twists and turns that you just have to be adaptable and be able to suck it up. And there's just the group of people that, who think they're so special in Spokane just aren't. They're not a. I don't know. I pity them when they go out into the real world, because if they try to make it anywhere besides here, where they've been considered special all of their life, they're just not. They're just not going to. They're just not going to make the grade. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I know enough. Well, you know enough about it too. I mean, that's the case. I mean, it's not. Look, modeling is not an easy job. You're in competition with a lot of pretty girls who a lot of them are prettier than you. They're better looking than you are, and you just have to find your little niche and set in. And if you can't have people tell you what will improve your chances of getting a job, you might as well just stay home in Spokane and knit, marry a doctor, and I don't know, do whatever. Anyway, look, I saw so much of this stuff that was unbelievable, just on the surface, on the calm little surface, that it had me wondering what was possibly lurking underneath. And that's what saw my original notion. My original notion was just, this is I'll write a little fluff novel, a little something or other, a little book, about what goes down into a modeling pageant in the sticks. Mm-hmm. But after all of this stuff went down, it morphed into my decision to include all of the pettiness, the jealousies, the one-upmanships, the unprofessional professionals resorted to here in this town, because it just seems so desperate that they need to remain what they consider a big fish in what is really one of the smallest of ponds. I mean, it amazes me still. So
yeah,
afraid so. What can I say?
So they're squabbling like words like best, big, top.
Oh.
And you said something here.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Look. The unprofessional professionals of Hinterland Spokane are insistent that there never be any kind of beauty pageant or runway show or photo shoot or modeling contest in Spokane in which they don't participate that can include any adjective like best, top, or big, because to their way of thinking, how could it be best? How could it be all that big? How could it be top?
Well, I'm just wondering what best, big, and top means. I would just want to have the best big top. You know? There, I got the job.
Oh, there
best,
you are. You
top.
managed to insert some more humor in it. Very funny. Very, very fun. You know, I wish I would have thought of that. I might post that yet. but anyway, you can't. They don't. They protest against anybody doing that because without one of them being the winner. And do remember, you know, that their participation in anything, by their own definition, eliminates the participation of any beginner or intermediate model. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they're not the only ones participating, they don't think that you should call whatever you're doing best, big, or top. I mean, everybody calls, you know, something the best. Look, I suggested that best might merely refer to the best within the number of contestants, you know, in a certain contest itself. You know, that made them furious. After which I suggested that a sharp-eyed judge might actually prefer to see a newbie's fresh face over one of theirs.
Yeah.
And shit once again hit the fan. I mean, it's just, you know, it's been raining crap, you know.
So as a judge, so I'm assuming, how many judges were there?
Well, they're going, well, I don't know, because I'm not really talking about a specific contest, am I?
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. But there's usually in these things, I mean, usually I would say three is what I would say, possibly.
Oh, okay. Because I just wondered if there was any way to, you know, maybe. I'm just saying this off the books. Do you think there's any chance with all this going on? So somebody won this thing, right?
I can't say that either because we're talking past
okay.
the
Okay, sorry. But
I sound like
what
I'm
I was
going to
say was, what about doing something that there's like a model, like a modeling group thing, like a class type of thing, that you can go over all this, because I think these girls get these things in their head that they're just, it's not right. You know, they're not thinking properly, like the ones that think they're professional and bash the younger girls or the new girls and things like that. What if they had a class for that? Like for
the newcomers, or for the
for all of them.
For all of them? No. The professionals would not. They wouldn't stand for a class. I mean, baby, they think they already know just about. They think they know, and the idea of having to go to a class with a beginner or an intermediate, I mean, it would send these people into. I mean, have you ever seen twirling dervishes? I mean, they would be causing tornadoes in the wheatlands with all of
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, no. You know, you can't. And then what you see, and then the problem also is, once you have committed yourself to a piece of ridiculousness, you know, how do you back yourself out of the corner? I mean, once you make yourself so adamant that you're special and you don't associate with beginners or intermediates, if you suddenly appear with beginners or intermediates, all of that brouhaha, you know, that you went through before, all that tantrum throwing, all that professional, you know, it looks even more unprofessionalism, and it looks like you've made a mistake. And I don't think any of these girls are prepared to admit that, you know, they had made a mistake.
Who was the supermodel? It's not Amon. What's her name? And she threw temper tantrums all the time.
I keep wanting to say no. Yeah, well, I know who you mean. It's one of the big. And I'd like to say Tyra Banks, but it's not.
It's not Tyra Banks. It's another one.
It's not. No, it's not Tyra Banks, because she's actually a good mentor.
She's a great. I think
Tyra
Banks.
She's a great one. But I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And I can't. I mean, it's not Amon's like amazing. That's David Bowie's wife.
No, yeah, and it's not. It's not
Is
her.
one in between there? Oh,
Somewhere,
Naomi Campbell. Someone just put in chat.
Ooh.
Naomi Campbell was like
A bitch.
well, she's notorious for throwing fits.
For throwing triple. Look, when you become a supermodel of like Naomi Campbell, that attitude is no better than it is any time else. But look, she's more apt to get away with it where she is than these people. Than these people. Yeah. You know, I mean, if they're Naomi Campbell and they want to rave on and on and on and on and go out and somebody will grab them up for a new job, well, all power to them. You know, all they have to say is, you know, I'm Naomi Campbell and you just have your opinion and I have mine, you know, goodbye. These people, though, in Spokane, this group, I mean, they're saying all of this and it's getting out there. I mean, look, they made the mistake. Look, they made the big mistake of coming off really whiny to me. And I mean, actually, I know people in the business beyond Hinterland. And I have an international, you know, audience.
Oh, of course you do. Yeah.
So, I mean, you
go way back.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, I can go out and, you know, say what everything bad that they have to say about me is basically staying in their own little group in this own little town. But they have made me, you know, it's just so absurd. I have no qualms about going out into the big wide world and saying these people are, you know, crazy. Stay away. And if I'm ever asked, I'll, you know, if someone comes to me and says, you know, I've heard things bad about Spokane professional models, you know, what do you think? I'll say, well, look, I have a list of who's naughty and nice. Some of these people are really sweet and really good. And some of them, you know, avoid like the plague. So yeah. I mean, so they never, you know, they never thought it through. They never thought it through. Look, I had one girl come out of the woodwork. She suggested all pageants and all modeling contests exploited women. So when I didn't agree with her, she wrote enough women's lib wordage to fill a book. And not if there was any book that would ever get published. But I mean, it went on and on and on and on and on. Then she went on to insinuate that all pageant contest sponsors were suspect of exploiting women. And then she went on to say, look, this is just to prove that the people in the hinterland, you know, don't pay, you know, they don't think things through. They don't realize that there might be repercussions down the road. She told me that I should never be a judge in a pageant contest because it would be suspect because I wrote, quote, porn and would very likely be slipping roofies into the
oh my god,
roofies into the models' drinks. Now that's actually what she said, and that's actually what she posted online. After which I calmly...
I'm sorry, William. That's horrible.
Oh, no, well, no, because as I said, you know, what you got, an audience of 6? I mean, really. Okay. Anyway, so I said to her very calmly, because I was the only one calm in all of this, I told her to just check with her lawyers as regards slander and defamation of character.
Well, you could get her on that.
Yeah, because I mean, really. Horrible. So, I mean, and once again, that gives me something else to go out into the world and say, look, these people are so crazy in this little group that they make accusations out of the blue, never think things through. So how are they going to succeed in the modeling business? So, I mean, it was really just a bunch of hysteria. I mean, it was really, really, really sad if it wasn't so funny, because some of these people, you know, really think that they're, you know, God's gift to...
And it's a bit sad for the ones that took it seriously, right?
Well, yes, because there's a lot of people. I mean,
there might have been some,
a lot of good models in Spokane who are actually working their butt off, you know, to make a success of it. And I wish them all the success in the world. It's just a few rotten apples in the barrel, and I'm keeping track, you know, and I know who they are. And if they think that I'm not going to tell my friends and associates and use every soapbox that I've got and tie, being able to say these things into any chance I get. I mean, they're sadly mistaken. I mean, they're just, for little nobodies off in the middle of nowhere, they've really just overstepped a lot of bounds, and it's just so ridiculous that I really can't believe it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there goes the modeling.
Well, look,
I
there
know.
goes the
I
modeling.
understand because like I said, I was in when we started talking about this. I had been in pageants too, and I seen a lot of really weird stuff go. I seen.
Yeah, well, it's not
here,
as if,
here's some diamond cufflinks to one
Yeah,
of the judges,
yeah.
and it all sometimes people find out about it and it comes out, and so you have to be, you're there and you're competing and you're going, oh well, maybe they'll still see my talent, but no. they saw
and
the
look,
diamond
it's not
cufflinks.
as if it's not as if the modeling business outside of Spokane
Yeah.
and small towns. It's not as if it's all pure and crystal clear and everything goes clear and there is no cheating and there are no payoffs and there is no favoritism. It's just that you have to be prepared to handle it in the big time. And if you can't even handle stuff when you're in, a really small fish pond, you might as well give up. You might as well give up the ghost. So
Yeah.
just get
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah, 'cause
That's all that I have to say. It's just
Yeah.
if you can't manage to be intelligent and you can't manage to be polite, if you can't manage to handle a bit of criticism where you are when you're not with the people who will, if they think I lobbed a few balls at them, I mean they should be out there when people really start telling them what they think, and you're not. And if you make any kind of throw a hissy fit, I mean, your name will get spread around so fast that you'll never model for anybody again. So they just have to be very, very careful because they're not very smart in regard to what's good for their career and what's not for it. And I find it's as laughable as it is sad. I mean, because I do wish a lot of these girls well, and I have a lot of them make it. And as I said, there's a lot of decent girls, hard workers in the Spokane area. The people who come here, though, looking for models had better be damn careful who they run into, because the people who think they're hot are really just on the verge of, nutso. So.
Well, I think if people in your area are looking for models, they should ask you first.
Oh, but yes, I think that might be. I might be able to steer them in the right direction.
And you can have like a grade, like the 1 to 10 chart on craziness.
Yeah.
And you go, well, no, she's a 2, so she's good. She's a 9. She's
She's good.
out.
Yeah. So if anybody out there is thinking if they need a model anywhere in or around Spokane, Washington, be sure and check in with me first, because I have had enough experience with to be able to separate the chaff from the from the grain. The roses from the thorns. And I see
Bruce
we're almost out of time. Oh,
yeah,
too bad.
I know. And Bruce just said he would be a really good earlobe model.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't had any association with male models. I think this town is so small. I think we might have like 2 male models in here, so they're really not included in too many of the competitions or modeling things. So I have no experience with them. I mean, I suspect well, there's so few of them in the smaller towns compared to the girls. I'm not too sure they would end up with as big a head as the girls do. That might just be, oh God, I'll have that woman checking in and say I'm anti-female. Oh, well, what the hell.
Lady Wolf
anyway.
is a good ankles model. I said I would be a good foot model. And that's like a joke because I have a deformed foot. So.
Okay. All righty. Okay. I have 6 o'clock, and we
we should get going. And I haven't heard from who's on
the Haunted Buffalo.
I haven't heard from him at all tonight. So
he's not in the chat room.
He's not. So I don't know what's going on.
Well,
but we can.
I don't know.
But anyways, I would. So no one's telling us to hurry up or anything, but I would just say
I know, but I'd hate to stop at his toes. And
yeah,
if you
but
let me,
no,
if
he
you let
would
me
be in
rave
here.
on anymore,
But-
I'd probably, set enough for 1 hour, maybe somewhere down the line.
Well,
when the
no,
book is-
it's very interesting because I totally relate to it because like I said, I've seen a lot of weird stuff in contests and like
been there,
beauty
done that, got the
contests
T-shirt, burned it, threw
and
away the ashes. Yeah.
yeah, and whatever, right?
Yes, I know.
You know,
Okay.
and it's just like you said, these girls have to, it's better to help each other.
Yeah, I
You
don't, I don't that's something else I don't understand. I mean, when you're in the same place, wouldn't you think that if there was a fellow model from Spokane, from your hometown or from your city, who was struggling along, don't you think
Yeah.
that you would want to give them lessons? And the fact that, you learn by watching, and if you're a professional and you walk down the aisle and a girl sees how it's done and she learns from that, if she's not as good, you as a professional model should beat her and win like the magazine cover or something, rather than at the same time you're mentoring somebody. There's no conception of mentoring in a lot of these girls. They're where they are. They think they're at the top of the mountain, and they don't want anybody to get close and supplant them or take them down. So that's sad.
And then they stop their learning process because they're not dealing with the others. So
yeah, I mean, how can you know you're so great if you don't look at people who are bad? You can't tell good if you're not dealing with bad. So I just don't get the small town mental thought process.
I think William, the message here though is that it's small town, and they think they're in this little spot, and they think that they're huge, and they're not, right?
Yes, and where that'll be the case.
Toss them into Los Angeles, or toss them into somewhere that's
go to New York and
big,
see
or
where
New
you
York,
stand.
or
And while that's true of any business, I mean, anybody
exactly.
in school can go to a bigger town and find out that you're really not as big a fish as you are. But in the modeling business, where so much of it is negative anyway and counts upon looks more than anything, it's even more of a jolt. And some of these girls are just not gonna.
Yeah.
They're not going to go any further than whatever they're doing now.
Yeah,
so.
like a car dealership or something. Hello. We've got used cars.
Don't knock down. Don't knock down. Oh, good for time.
Come here, we got cars for $500.
Yeah, this one and then this store. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay. The modeling industry's kind of. Anyways, unless
you're huge. Okay. Well, look. Thank you.
That
was
very
really
cool.
Thank you for letting me vent. That was just something that I thought. It's just lately. It's I know
it was bothering you, and and I guess maybe you picked up some flack. Just you live there and dealing with it and speaking your mind.
The really funny thing is, I may be staying here now, but this is, my life is not here, and it never is. And I don't really associate with all that many people in this town. And the modeling community was so small, that I have absolutely, when all of this to-do started, I didn't have any friends on Facebook who were modeling. I'd never met them at any of the art parties or at any of the parties that I'd gone to, except for maybe 2 or 3. So all of their ranting and their raving, which was just among themselves in this little town. And I never saw it, it doesn't affect me, because these people are not, I don't care. I don't care what they think.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not affected by them.
It doesn't affect me. Yeah, I'm not affected by it. So.
Yeah.
Why bother? So there you go with that.
Okay. Because I don't think Eric's coming up here because we don't see him. But so, in ending, do you think these models have any paranormal experiences?
No, but I think
I think William's haunting them.
I'm thinking
dreams
should have been Halloween instead of Christmas.
William's haunting them. William's haunting them in their dreams, going, You ain't all that, girl. You just ain't all that. Your face looks flat from the front. Your boobs aren't big enough.
And then one of them said to me, why are you saying these things? It's the holidays, and you're calling me.
It's the holidays.
Well,
We're being bitches, but it's the holidays. So stop telling everybody we're bitches.
What does a holiday have to do with it? Please, don't say such things about these girls, because it's Christmas. Excuse me, but people walk the runway at Christmas too and are told, sorry, honey, but it's Christmas, but you're too flat-chested for my bra. I don't know.
You can't say that about the models. It's St. Patrick's Day.
I
know. Come on.
I know. No, yeah.
But I think, we should. We'll.
Yeah, just in case Ethan is Eric.
Eric, not
Right.
Ethan.
Yeah,
Eric Charles. But I don't know what's happening. I haven't seen hide nor hair of him.
I know. I can't remember names. That's why I have to write them down in lists and things.
But
so.
maybe I missed something on there. I've got a bunch of messages on Facebook, but which I can't look at while we're doing the show. So
yeah, I don't know.
I can only do so much.
Really seen anything posted from Eric either. So.
I haven't seen, and actually, usually I get his updates. So maybe he's off too. A lot of people have been off lately because we're getting really close to December,
okay.
And he's got his little girls and probably Christmas plays and things like that. So anyways, I don't know what's up next, you guys.
No, I don't know either. I do know that we won't be on. What is it? Is it?
Actually, we got one
Christmas
more show.
Eve. Christmas Eve. I think we have one more show, and then there's Christmas Eve, and I don't think we'll be doing a Christmas Eve show.
No. There's Christmas Eve, and then there's
New Year's Eve.
So we're going to be
too.
off.
We'll have to check and see what we'll be doing next week.
Yeah. So we have only one more show, you guys, until
the new year.
Until 2015. And we will let you know what it's about.
when we know what it's about.
When we know. Maybe more modeling. No, I don't think so.
No, not for a while yet.
I've got some
too much
cool
attention. That much attention. So.
Well, it's cool to know because I understand where you're coming from. Because
if I were a client,
I've seen some.
Spokane, I would want, I would appreciate some input in regard to what's going on. Mm-hmm. Go to Seattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe, or make sure that you do check out. Because there are good models. Well, no, don't go to Seattle. Come here. Just make sure that you get somebody who's not nasty and not petty and knows how to be a professional.
I think it's just small town mentality, and I get it. Like I've seen it myself, so
Yeah, so can't be helped.
But it's annoying if you try to help people, and there's just no way around it because it's all been decided beforehand, and
Yeah, pretty much that's it. In order to succeed out in the outside world, you have to be able to break away successfully from this sort of mentality. So, and there are some girls who can do it, and some women who can do it, and there are others who, will never master the fact that they've thought they're some stars all of their lives, but they're not going to be stars once they get out of here. So they might as well. And
they're not going to be stars when they're 40. So girls.
Oh yeah, no matter what. Yeah.
Girls, if you're listening and you're modeling and.
You're 39.
You think it's going to last forever? It's not.
No.
You better be smart.
Yeah. So you should start out at the beginning smart and pay attention and not make mistakes and not stick your foot in the mud and alienate people who can actually be very helpful and offer suggestions. Yeah. Because you're just cutting off your noses to spite your faces.
And they should be very appreciative of you because you've seen a lot of them, over the years, all these, in modeling in different countries, and things like that.
I think you just made a lot of people very angry.
I don't care.
When you put this show on archives. Oh, by all means, put it on archives pretty soon.
I am.
So that I can point it out.
No, I think they
Yeah.
should be listening because they're not. I'm sure other people that are involved in it aren't as worldly and know what's going on outside of this little place. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, it's not like it's not like they've come after me as if I'm the one person in the world who's ever going to say anything, in the least bit negative about them. And the truth is, I mean, there are countless people out there who are not going to give them the bow down like they think that they should be bowed down to. I mean, they should be able to accept the reality and adjust their lives accordingly, not just jump up and down and scream and shout and like idiots. Yeah.
Well.
Yep. Okay.
I would like to see them jumping up and down. But anyways,
you do not want to see them acting like idiots because
I was just saying,
it's not a pretty. Well, you might get a couple of laughs out of it because I actually managed to get a couple. When you see people throwing wingdings over something that nobody else in the would, you kind of stand back and you think, am I really? Am I really seeing? Is this really happening? Can this be? Well, the answer is yes. In some places in the hinterland, it can be.
Well,
it can be. Yeah.
I was just thinking when I posted it on Facebook before we came on was if there was naked pillow fights,
yes,
it would all be good. Spokane modeling, naked pillow fights, or so it'd be.
Look, the next contest that comes along, I will. I suspect that would draw an audience. Well, maybe not in Spokane. I mean, this is really a very little isolated spot of the world, and probably it's certainly not the best place to make a universal judgment on models anywhere, possibly even in other towns as small.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just don't know. Every place has its thing, and this is just not a. I like to stay here because I don't have to associate with, everybody because I really don't need them. And it's a good place to, stay, do the writing that I have to do and get my work done because, there's not much going on here.
No. So I'm guessing you're not going to be picked as a judge in the next Spokane modeling.
No, I don't think so. No. I mean, it would be. Can you imagine?
No.
No. I've finished. And then the fun part was, they said, now you too much. Someone said, too much about the models. You'd be biased. And as I said, I went looking at my friends list. I didn't have there wasn't a model there. There wasn't a hair, it's a hair salon there. There wasn't a photographer. Well, there was a couple of photographers there, but they didn't have anything to do with the. By the way, I did say that there was a lot of moaning going along and around in hairdressers and they all say the photographer is like why did he get the job? He only has he only has 40 years of experience and I have 41.
Oh no.
Yeah. Or the hair salon goes, well, why did they get the job? Because they did the last contest. Or a jeweler. The one jeweler said, you didn't pick me, or by saying something negative about the show, you're going to ruin me and my business. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
So,
I've
yeah.
seen my experience was they just told us on chat that dude wasn't here, Eric, so we could keep talking. But my experience was some really funny stuff. You know, two pageants I went in. The owners of the pageant, the buildings that the pageants were held in,
Mhm.
their girlfriends won. Two of them that I can remember was the owners of the pavilions or the whatever one, and then another one.
Obvious sense.
Yeah, I was talking about the diamond cufflinks was another pageant I was in. The guy that was running the pageant, I heard about it afterwards. That the and it was like everybody knew it was true that he'd gotten some diamond cufflinks from the girl's husband or something like that. So you know, it's just there's always all this cheesy shit that goes on.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not. Yes, it's
And
not.
and a lot of times at the end of it, whoever wins, everybody sits back and goes, "What? Huh?" You know. So.
You know, and it's if everybody, everybody holds on to this,
Yeah.
forever
So
and a day. Like they're going to remember who won a beauty contest that took place in 1955, a couple years down the road. I mean, people move on, and things that are important in their lives are no longer important. So
yeah, it doesn't
I don't
matter
know.
after a while. But I did win I won a pageant in 1992.
Yeah.
So it was Canada, and I won it. And the funny thing was, when I won it, one of the first things I said to everybody was, I go, "It wasn't fixed because there's no way
I won, and my face is flat."
Because my face is flat, and there's no reason in the world I would have won this unless I actually won from the judges. I didn't know any of the judges, had no, nothing going on with anybody.
Yeah.
And
We had one girl. I had one girl suggested that whenever a contest is judged in Spokane, they should bring judges in from, out of town.
Yeah.
So that they don't know the girls at all. And I, look, on like Top Model on TV, you've got, there's, you've got judges that they're with these people 24/7, and they know who they are, and they still cast their vote. As if a judge can't be, know like a referee can't know a player. But yet, referee a game unbiasedly is another ridiculous, mindset of, this type of growth. The idea of having to, bring judges in just so that nobody is familiar with anybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I left the Canada, when I left the Canada pageant. So the Canada pageant automatically entered me into the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
The world pageant that we were in.
Yes.
And it was really funny because then I got first runner-up in the world pageant, and the girl that won was later found out that she was dating the judge. So
yeah, I mean that kind. Yeah, I mean that.
But I was happy with
there
first
is
runner-up.
there is some basis for some people to think,
Yeah.
that things are rigged. But look, I mean, everything in life is. I mean, big business is rigged. Everything is rigged. You're going to find somewhere along the line. You're going to find some, stuff going on that you don't like. Just, move on. Find one that doesn't. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but for me it was quite that was pretty funny. So
did you find that amusing, or did you think?
Well,
shit?
I found it amusing later.
Oh yeah, later. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because it was like, okay, so I was first runner up, and it was Miss.
Oh yeah, because you could have been first.
Yeah.
Because you would have been disqualified.
But I was first runner up to the winner. So and it was actually a nude pageant. So I was first runner up for Miss Nude World. So then
Really?
I went on some talk shows afterwards, and one of the funniest things I ever heard was one of the guys said to me, he goes, so you're first runner up for Miss Nude World. Does that mean if Miss Nude World decides not to be naked, you win. So that was pretty funny.
I know. Did you say yes?
I said, yeah, oh, of course, yes.
That's funny.
But
yeah,
it was
look,
all.
you gotta keep. Look, you gotta keep your sense of humor. And I don't think anybody in this environment really has one. These are all very. Most of these people that I've run into are very, and I haven't met all of them, but some of the ones that I've run into are really sour, no sense of humor. You're not going to get anywhere in the world without having a sense of humor either. If you take everything too seriously, you're gonna.
No, big time. And I think
stress out, and not just at Christmas.
Yeah, and I used to do like a lot of comedy stuff too when I did the pageants, like for the talent portion. And
was that your puppet show?
Yeah, the puppet show, and I think that had a big thing to do with winning a lot of things, because if you can make people laugh, man, you got them.
There's nothing more attractive in a person than being able to have a sense of humor, and also not to take oneself too horribly, serious.
Yeah.
Then if you can laugh at yourself as well as get other people to laugh. I mean, you have it made. I mean.
Yeah.
Well, probably not made, but I mean, a lot of people have a tendency like you. I mean, you can be good looking and have a dour personality, but if you're just average looking and have a sense of humor, you find that you attract far more people around you than
I think
otherwise. So that's something people don't seem to realize either. I mean, it's as I said, nobody finds anything funny. I mean, well, I don't know. Once again, I don't know anyway. I have to emphasize that I'm really talking about a specific group of people, and I have not met everybody, so it can't be a universal condemnation. It's just a general view, of what I've seen so far and witnessed in regard to a certain group of people who.
Yeah, I think if you can make people laugh, and they warm up to you because it's like a real person. And not just laugh, but I mean, just even in modeling or whatever, if it's come across as a real person, not just as this thing, like no emotions, I think it's a big thing. So. Yeah.
Because as we discussed, I mean, you go out on calls and clients. If a client likes you, whether you completely fit the mold or not, if they think they can make, they can make concessions. They can make concessions to clothes adjustments. They can make it, to modeling, and they can give you a chance where, that they wouldn't give somebody else. You just have to, be more personable. And be able to know how to make friends and how to be diplomatic and how to be, make compromises, especially in the modeling business, that I don't see a lot of these girls, having in their toolkit.
No.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. There you go.
But
got that out, didn't it?
Yeah, but that's interesting, because it's it always says, and I'll tell you, if I had some of my girlfriends on the shows that this show that had been pageants, there's some of them I just kind of, they're still my friends on Facebook, and we have this little group of girls. It's like used to be in the pageants. It's like a private group, and they still bitch about stuff. And it was like in 1990 and stuff. They're like, "Oh no, I should have won." Girls are funny, man. They're and I just sit back and go, "Wow, really?"
Well, yeah. Look, and someone said to me, you surely didn't expect when you put that out there.
Bizarre, yeah.
Yeah, when you put that, you surely shouldn't have expected when you put that out there that these people wouldn't have jumped back on you, like a 10-ton truck, because, women have opinions.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, sure they do, but let's realize what business you're in, and let's realize how important some things are before you go jumping into the swamp with the alligator.
Yeah. Those damn alligators.
Yeah. Or just because I poked a hornet's nest You shouldn't be poking the bear.
Don't poke the bear, man. I put that picture up. Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, or something that I'm afraid. Do not expect me to open up any charm classes in this town anytime soon. I think I would go. Yeah, I think I would go.
I think they'd be lined up at your door.
Oh yeah, but yeah, sledgehammers and baseball bats and.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay.
Anyways, I know you had said you were going to be the judge, and that's how it went down. So,
Yeah, there it is.
Whoops, there it is. Whoops.
So now all I'm going to get is a nasty book out of it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Well, yeah, because I mean, actually,
being a writer, it gives you.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's really no big loss to me because, as I said, I don't know any of these. I don't care. So yeah, I mean, I'm more excited by the fact that I'm getting a book. Mm-hmm. And have an editor interested in it, and that it can come out, and that I can appeal to get to the readers elsewhere, and it turned out all good for me. So I really have no complaints actually. So.
Well,
but then I'm just not a complainer, and I have a sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, I would be very interested in reading the book because it sounds like.
And maybe somewhere along the line we can get your girls. You can get your girlfriends together and bring them on the show, and
yeah.
Here's some real bitching from some pros. So.
And I've seen some funny stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, we need some funny stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be. But so it'd be fun to read your book because I'm sure there was,
Well, I shall send you an autographed copy when the time arrives.
Okay.
Promise.
But I guess we don't have Eric coming on after us.
No,
but,
no. And if he did, his program would be almost over.
Well, no, he'd be messaging me. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
So anyways, I think I'm gonna sign us off now.
Sign us off, yes, because I think, I've said all I've had to say. I'm sure there will be more for another hour somewhere else. But that'll do for now. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So girls out there modeling, don't be bitches. Basically.
That's right. Be a little kinder.
Humble. Respect your girls that are coming up underneath you.
Be nice. There's no reason for you to look down your nose at other people just because they're where you were, a couple of days ago. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cutthroat business, but anyways. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yes, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well, it's a good thing we're not involved in it. We just
Oh yeah, I mean, really, good gravy. I mean,
yeah, but
except for my contacts and the people that I know,
Mm-hmm.
outside. I mean, I'm telling them, stay away, stay away.
Yeah, and Bruce just posted in chat, don't look down on anyone unless you are helping them up.
Well, that's very good. That's a very good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here it's push them down, kick them off the stage, kick them in the corner, and then someone else kick them off the stage.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very good. Yeah, you really should. You really should be more. I just, if some of these girls are where you were and not that long ago, and the fact that you should suddenly find yourself so uppity, it's just all very. It's all just very, schoolgirly that doesn't really. Is not going to cut it in the real world. So.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So get a life and get a grip and.
Get a life.
Yeah, get a life and get a grip. Yeah, and get a new profession because I think you're headed down a rocky path that's going to stumble you. If you can't manage a quick little stumble in your own hometown, how are you going to manage when you get out there where the people are really mean?
Oh, heck yeah. You see these things and. Yeah, anyways, the models going for jobs in New York, and it's just like, yes, no. Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You know,
yeah, and
they're
it's not, and
they're
and sometimes they don't even give you an explanation. It's
no,
just you
there's no
walk in, they take one little
they
look
don't
and
have
say,
time.
"No, honey, you won't do,"
Yeah.
or yeah, they're not going to say, "You should have your hair two tints a lighter blonde, and you should cut it, and then you should not wear that kind of brassiere or those shoes, honey. You look like a tramp." Nope, it's just you're not going. Yep,
Yes,
you
yes,
don't.
yes, no,
You're
no,
not going
no.
to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So when people are willing to give you constructive criticism, you should be able to take it and use it rather than throw a conniption fit and
Yeah.
go into a twirling dervish routine. I mean,
No
I can just
twirling
picture that.
dervishes
Somehow
here.
that's stuck in my mind, just watching them all start turning in circles. Like, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I can totally picture it, William.
Yeah,
I
there
have
you
no
go.
problem
Something,
picturing it.
something to leave you with on this evening
One of the
as you
funniest
head on
things
off
I
to
ever
have.
seen, I will leave you with this, is one of the pageants I was in, and they had all these wardrobe trailers.
Yeah.
And my friend Tasha, who's just adorable, anyway, she didn't even make it to the finals, and she was all kind of pissy about it. And the girl that won, we got into her trailer, and Tasha was running around, and she had her fake eyelashes like stuck on her cheeks, like like she looked like she was insane, and she's going, "Oh, I'm Alana. Look at me, I'm beautiful."
Oh God, are you sure this didn't all take place in Spokane,
And
Washington?
I just so
Hinterland?
wish I had video of this, because it was just the funniest shit, the funniest shit ever. And she's running around with these little, like, these big false eyelashes stuck. She didn't stick them on her eyes. She stuck them on her cheeks.
Stuck them on her cheek.
And she's running around going, "I'm Alana. I'm, anyway."
Oh dear, to be continued, I think. Okay.
Okay, well, everybody,
good night.
thank you for listening. The
Yes,
people that
thank
are
you.
left.
Especially if you're here for the whole hour and a half.
I know. Who knew? And we didn't even have a break, so I'm gonna play.
I know. Oh,
So I'm gonna play
I
all
would've
our.
liked to-
I'm gonna play
yeah.
all our advertising on our way out.
Oh
And,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry about that.
Oh, no biggie. I
Sometimes we
looked at
just-
the time a couple times, and I went, whatever.
We just can't stop, can we? Once we get sometimes
Yeah, I
we
just went.
just
Well,
go.
we're fine. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Do,
I'm not going to
you
go
do
into.
get in the advertising though.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but thank you all for listening.
Yes,
And,
thank you all.
And if you're looking for some straight or gay mysteries, espionage, sci-fi, western, or romance stories, even cookbooks, go to Amazon.com and check out William Maltese's books. And if you're looking for gothic jewelry, funky footwear, etc., candles, etc., check out VampireWear.com. And if you're into raw, organic, unpasteurized honey, go to MeadowLilyFarm.com. And we're almost sold out for the fall season, so you better get some now.
Does that start up again in the spring then?
Yeah.
I mean, is
yeah,
that when you have your next major harvest?
And we'll start in the spring, and I'll tell you a really good story, because obviously no one's on after us. So,
Do.
yesterday we had a gentleman come by in the morning.
Yeah.
And he got a kilogram, which is the big bottle of honey.
Is that
And-
close to a quart then? In the U.S. speak? I mean, look, down here we still don't have a clue what a kilogram is.
I'm not sure.
You're not.
Yeah,
And up there in Canada, you
yeah.
don't know a clue.
Well, it's big.
Yeah.
It's
Go ahead,
the,
go ahead.
the larger.
Go ahead.
So
Yeah.
usually, like if you're buying honey in the store, there's a smaller one and the bigger one. So it's the 1 kilogram. So I'm guessing. Yeah, I guess it might be about a quart. But it's 2 pounds.
And a pint's a pound the world around. And there's, is there 2 quarts? 2 pints in a quart? So it is a quart.
Oh, they just said in chat, yes. It's close to a quart.
Yeah,
Okay. It's 2 pounds of honey. So, anyways, he got a bottle of honey, and and he was very happy, and he left. And
Yes.
about an hour and a half later, he called me back here, and he goes, can I come back? Are you going to be there around, like, this was like in the morning, and she says, are you going to be there around 5? He goes, I want to come back and get another one. So he came back and got another kilogram of honey.
Well, look, you can't get better recommendation than people who are coming back on the same day. I mean, if one person ate a quart of honey, in the morning and needed another one at night, I would say you have some pretty good honey going there.
Yeah, and another girl was here today, and she's I think she's been here about 4 times. So it's Did
I send that thing to you on Facebook that had all the explanations about honey in the U.S., where they did tests on it, and a lot of the times there's not even very much honey in it? I mean, it's all sucrose and sugar and all sorts of things except honey. I mean... Really?
Well, it's totally believable. No? Yeah. I mean, we see a lot of... Now that we're involved in this, it's amazing what you see, like... that the honey that you get in the store and stuff, a lot of the honey, it's all sugar and stuff.
Yeah. No honey. I mean, it was, and this just was not one brand. I mean, they'd sampled about 5 of them, and every single one of them was low on honey. I mean, it was just, and I kept thinking, boy, I'm always going to go to Meadow Lily Farm, where I'm sure that I'm getting my money's worth, because that's ridiculous. I mean, I can spoon. Oh, I just remembered. I have bread downstairs that's been rising for 4 hours. What's
But yeah, the honey, and see, we don't even feed the bees sugar. So, like, some people actually go out to their beehives and feed their bees sugar. And we don't do that, and we have enough honey, like we're, part of our whole thing here is to respect the bees and their lives. So they're left with enough honey in the wintertime in their hives. We don't take all their honey out. We leave them enough honey for them to survive the winter, because that's what they use during the winter. And so we don't have to, and even we even said if we had to feed them, if we did have to, we have a really bad winter and we have to feed our bees, we're going to feed them the honey, because we've got enough.
Because you have a load of it.
We have a load of it as our personal honey. So we're going to feed them the honey that we have here. We've never, ever, ever given them sugar. And
I had visions of you feeding them Bruce. When you said you were going to feed them your honey. No, let me tell you, it sounds to me from what I've heard, that honey is something that you want to make sure that you've got a reputable person selling it to you, to make sure that you're getting what you're supposed to get. So I certainly recommend you to anybody who's after, honey, and want to make sure they're getting it and getting the right kind. So
yeah, well, we had two batches. My nephew works for a car company here, Toyota, and he came and buy and got one box, a whole bunch of bottles of honey, and boom, it was gone, and he came right back again. Everybody was so happy with it. And he came back and got another batch. So we actually have to increase our bees, because
your production, in order to meet up with your demand.
Yeah, the demand is high.
Yeah. Well, I would think, probably, I don't know, maybe the Canadian stores, I mean, taste the honey. Nothing in, the stores, tastes like it is when it's out, somewhere else. So I'm suspecting that the people who like honey and have been getting their honey from the store just knows a superior product when they taste it by now, and that's why you're getting the business, because you actually know what you're doing and are producing a high quality product. So yeah, by all means.
Yeah.
If you want good honey, go to meadowlilyfarm.com.
Yeah, and everybody, I mean, everybody's saying that, so that tries it, and we just, that's all we eat here, so it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I know a few models in Spokane who are probably not saying that, but that's okay.
Well, they've never had it, and they're tainted anyways.
Really, yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, we should get going here. And
always a pleasure.
We extended past our thing, so
Yeah, we had stuff to talk about, didn't we? Yeah,
we did. So everybody in chat, everybody's being really cool in chat, and so go to meadowlilyfarm.com if you're interested in honey, and we have bee rescue as well. So we get bees out of people's trees and sidewalks and houses and things like that. So and it's been pretty busy too. So. And go to Amazon.com and put in William Maltese and get all your books.
I think I know a lot of people here with bees in their bonnets.
I think so.
Could you come get? Could you come get the bees and take the people away with them?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So everybody have a great night, and I'm gonna play our ads on the way out because we got lots of time.
Excellent. Do and good night and thank you, and everybody have a merry and a happy.
Yeah, we've got one more show before Christmas, and we'll let you know what it's about.
When we know.
and we have, Bruce is in chat, and he just said, and walnut syrup, which is different from maple syrup, will be available in spring. So.
Oh, good, because I'm interested in some of that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever tasted walnut syrup.
Well, I'm going to send you some.
Oh, well, good. Yes. Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody have a good night.
Yes, please, and thank you. As my mother said to always say when offer a gift.
Okay.
Okay, Jojo, I'll let you go. We can sign off, and you can get to your honey, bees and otherwise.
Yeah, well, okay. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
When the sun goes down, do you start to crave something dark and decadent? VampireWear has something for your immortal soul. Jewelry, accessories, and if you dare, VampireWear. Home of the Tribal Fang Necklace, complete with certificate of authenticity, except no other. Get your VampireWear at VampireWear.com. We always get what we pray for.
Looking for some erotic literature? Guaranteed to ignite your passion. Look no further than author William Maltese. With titles such as Dare to Love in Oz, Circus Sex, Godmaker Vampires of London, and Love Hurts. You can pick your favorite flavor, from mainstream romance to S&M and gay erotica. Want to get hot in the kitchen or the back of the boat? William also has a line of tasty cookbooks. Check out Back of the Boat Gourmet Cooking, and even gourmets have to diet. Go to WilliamMaltese.com and enjoy over 200 books and over 4 decades of love.